He's a business coach and someone who I've been working with for the past couple of months. Paul is amazing in business entrepreneurship and has given me a lot of support and really helped ingrain those entrepreneurial habits and ways of managing not only myself, I think, but also my business in so many ways. And yeah, Paul, I'd love to hear a little bit about, I suppose you've given me loads of guidance over the last, what is it? I think it's like 7 or 8 months now, isn't it? We've known each other. And I'm just wondering, like, what would you say brought you to that point, or where do you see that entrepreneurs can kind of get these great emotional business habits to really, I suppose, as you said before to me and a lot of other people, not have the business work for them, but kind of, you know, work outside that business and have that kind of helicopter view of their business and not be stuck inside it. What would you say that someone could go around to really, I suppose, navigate that in a healthy way?
Well, Louise, great question, by the way. And yes, great to be here. And thank you for inviting me on to your little vlog or podcast, wherever it is. But yeah, it's great to be here. And it's been amazing having the opportunity to work with you all these months. Also, you are truly an asset to the retail industry. And yeah, to have you in there, I'm sure so many are going to vibrate on a really good way for that reason alone, because you are amazing at aligning people within that industry. So let me come back to your question. So looking at, you know, what really creates for a healthy business, an emotionally healthy business. Now, this is there's 2 layers to this. First of all, you have to look at your why, as to why you want to run a business. That's the first thing. So many people get that wrong. They give, what they do is they give out instead of realize, and they forget their own purpose. And what I mean by that is so many people run a business to give. I want to give this, I want to be sure I help people. You know, we can do that without running a business if we're being truthful. You know, we have children, they're what we're helping. We get married, we're helping. Generally in everyday life, we can help people without doing it under the pressures of having to sell your own service. So let's not use that as the reason. Let's be careful why we choose to run a business. Now, let's look at the real reason. So we decide to run a business because we have a passion and a gift, a talent, and experience for a particular, let's say, a particular practice, or that we do that we feel can provide, that can add to the economy of people's lives. That's why, that's the business module. Then we say, well, I have this passion. I feel I want to put this into business. Now, here's the tickling question. Why? Have you decided to run a business because you want to be a 90-hour-a-week busy person? Or have you decided to run a business because you want to make a substantial amount of money? We can do that in a career if we really want it. So you've got to really focus as to why you decided the business first. Is it because you want lifestyle freedom, you want more time, you want to be your own boss? Then you build the business to that purpose. That's emotionally, you have to have that aligned first. So let's take my example. I run a business because I wish to have free time. Now, this might sound like you know, so many people say this. Yeah, I want to run a business, I want to be in charge of my time. How many are not? 99.9% people are not in charge of their time. Then the illusion they're in charge of their time. It's a discipline, being in charge of your time and having lifestyle freedom. It's a discipline in doing that. Have that completely understood first. But then when you decided, yes, here I am, my name is Louise Lally, I'm running a business because I want to have more time in my life, I have a family and all these beautiful things, I'm having time for that. Okay, yeah, it's great to say that. Now, emotionally, have you done enough work on yourself to actually practice that? To say, okay, here's a thing, business module. I'm going to work 3 days a week, but you've got to provide me a 5-day-a-week income. So now I build everything around that intention from my heart and my mind. You can't fluctuate from it. You've got to stick to that intention. That's what creates true lifestyle business, and then emotional happiness in your business. If you've decided, I run a business because I want to be so busy, that's what makes me happy, then you run a business in that way. And that's what will make you emotionally happy. You have to run the business and match it to in accordance what makes you emotionally happy, not what makes the business happy. Does that make sense?
Mm. How do you get that balance, I suppose? How do you find that sweet spot?
Yeah, see, now, here's the thing. You're saying, how do you find it? You don't look for it. It's there. We are looking for a sweet spot when we run a business of balance. No. We run a business from our own intention. So I'm not looking to find that balance. I'm creating that balance. Now, the integrity or the authenticity behind that balance comes behind your emotional triggers and traits. So we could say, well, for me, I run a business 3 days a week and it pays me 5 days. To do that, I have to have true value on my service, true inner value that I am worth this. I am worth invoicing in such a way where I can run my business 3 days to be paid 5 days. That doesn't mean I'm lazy. It means I get more time to think, because that's how I function better, when I'm thinking. So I have to give think time into my week. That comes into my lifestyle. So we don't search for it, we intentionally put it there.
And I suppose a lot of people I've spoken to that are in that early phase of starting up their business, they are juggling a lot of balls, Paul. So they are juggling loads of different balls. They've loads of different hats on. And where you said you find that, where do you get to that point where you're in a place to find it, where you calm the busyness down?
Well, here's the thing also. Let's remember that running a business has become a global habit, a really poor global habit that we've inherited from people we've been watching or experiencing growing business all our lives. Effectively, the word busyness is there, and it creates an emotional trigger, which is I have to be busy if I'm running a business. Running a business isn't a result, it's a process. We don't get results in a business. We go through processes that create gains for our next process. There's never an end to running a business. Unless we decide to sell it, then we create another event in our life. So it's when we are over busy in our business, it's because we are overrunning the size of the business at that given point in our time. If we want lifestyle as a business rather than busyness as a business, then first of all, we have to understand our money alignments, our money values. A euro, 5 euros is the same for everybody because it's 5 euros, but emotionally 5 euros may feel different for everybody. £5 is different to me than what it is to you, Louise, purely because of our childhood. We put a different value on money, which then creates a different rush in business. Money creates desperation, it creates reactive decisions. It can also create positive response if we understand it. So the reason why we become busy is because we are overly growing, where we are panicking into what is called business envy. When we practice business envy, we feel we need to grow as fast as the person that we see as successful. So we're trying to get to the point where that person that we look up to in the business world as being super success, but not realizes that they went through that process. And the reason why they're successful is because they understand that business isn't a result. It's a process. So you're never looking for an end. You're never looking, but if we are panicking into, I've got to get this done, then we're not actually trusting what we did yesterday, the day before to create the result. Because we feel we have to create more results. That's what creates busyness in business.
And something you said there, Paul, overrunning the size of your business. Can you elaborate more on that? Because that resonates definitely, I think, with me and with probably other people when I hear that.
When you're overrunning your business, it means that you are full flight in, I'll say the word again, business envy. Now, social media is a platform that promotes business envy and life envy. And effectively, we are, especially these last 2 or 3 years, we're constantly looking at what are people supercharging their business during the COVID period. And then it creates that panic, that inner panic into the SME world of business people of, I must be getting left behind. I can't be doing something right. I need to be doing more. I'm not trusting what I'm doing. I'm not getting results. Then we create that business envy, which creates then an overrun in our business, which means we're doing more than what we actually need because we're not trusting what we did yesterday. Was it enough? Should I have done more? One thing I did learn from my business coach many years ago, and trust me, I've had lots of coaches, so very important part of my life, is that always be happy with what you've done on your given day in your business, regardless of how small that achievement may be. We cannot measure the size of an outcome from an action we've just done. So we've created an action, we can't measure that outcome because there's so many synchronizations that have to go on in the business world for that outcome to be successful. And a lot of it is out of our hands. Synergy and synchronicity is a beautiful part of business.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful, because I think a lot of people now are looking at social media, and I think a lot in the last 2 years, especially with the rise in Instagram, TikToks, all of these kind of video content platforms. And I think there is that bit of panic in business owners and businesses that they are being left behind a little bit on that social media gravy train, or whatever you want to see, in this whole I'm earning 13,000 in 1 month sort of lifestyle thing that you see being projected out there. What advice would you give to business startups? Because I talk to a lot of people that are just starting out in business like me, and I do a lot of volunteer work as well with people that are starting on their entrepreneurship journey. And I'd love to know kind of what advice would you give to those people that are, I suppose, in those early stages of setting up their businesses, and they are trying to figure out, what is enough, and maybe they are feeling impatient, but maybe they're really trying to get themselves out there. What would you say to those people, or what advice would you give them?
Don't measure yourself by somebody else's success first. Know that you're already, each day is a successful day. If you're measuring your success through your financial return, then it's going to take you into I'm going to say an early burnout in life. Few things here. First of all, the return, the size of your bank account doesn't equate to the size of your business, for sure. The success of your business doesn't equate from the size of your bank account, but actually equates from how you are adding to the ecosystem, the life economy. That's from the size of your business. So when you look at the early part of your business, first thing is to make sure you touch in with your logic every day. When I say touch in with your logic, touch in and really take stock of why you're running your business, and the importance of what you feel is needed in your business, what not you feel somebody else needs to see in your business. Always work from character rather than desperation. Keep your character in check. You see, the product doesn't make your business, you do. The service doesn't make the business, you do. So I always say to people, keep your authenticity, keep your integrity in place. And when it comes to social media, it runs far quicker than our mind and wisdom could. It's designed because it's digital. Our wisdom is not, it's organic. Our wisdom comes from organic thoughts, from our heart, our soul, our feelings, and all those wonderful things. Social media is very different. It's designed to do something, and it's not possible for that to align. So what we do is we look at social media. You don't look at social media and make your measure. You look at you as to what you want to bring in, not what you feel social media needs from you. What you want to bring in. And remember, you don't measure that then by the amount of likes you have, or the likes of comments that come with that. Social media is a platform that has a hidden audience. Now, much of people that will see you on social media will have no response at all. Can you imagine that in real life? That you're now in front of a theatre, and 1,000 people have paid to come in and watch your event, none of them are actually responding to you whatsoever. In fact, you can't even see them. Almost the whole audience is a blur. You leave, you feel very discontented. But here's the thing, those 1,000 people now will leave and they will talk to another 1,000 people, another 1,000 people, another 1,000 people. It's understanding that social media, if you can understand that process of it's invisible, but my audience is there. It's invisible, but my audience is there. Understand that, but always, what do I want to bring in? What I think it needs from me? Because that approach then means that you're bringing your character, your heart, and your soul in. But it's always better to know that this is a marathon in social media. Don't go on there and just feel you've got to explode into it and be on it every day, because your business is reliant on many aspects of your pipeline, and the social media is just one small part, for sure.
Definitely. And I think something there you said was, what does your business need from you, not what does other people need from it. And I think that's super important, because sometimes I think those lines get blurred. Sometimes we don't think what our business needs from us, and we're getting pulled into maybe what customers need from it and different things, and that can bring you down, I think, a different path, where you might have had this strategy, this plan, because that was aligning to what your business needed, but you've now gone down a different path. And it is obviously swings and roundabouts. And I think when you're on that journey, there's going to be times where you're thinking you're going one way and another way. But kind of what for you, what question could you give, or what would be a great coaching question or a great question for those people out there that are getting kind of pulled with trends or with what's happening now? And maybe they had that strategy that they wanted to go forward in, but they're getting maybe pulled every which way. What would you kind of guide them into maybe asking a question in themselves, or, something maybe they can incorporate into their daily practice or something like that to maybe bring them back in alignment again, I suppose, when they're in those times of busyness?
I think when you are in that place and your mind gets very fuzzy because you find that you get over influenced. We all get over influenced, sure, in the business world, and that comes from, again, panic and business envy. Let's remember that there's a story to it. So you panic, you get business envy, you panic, then you become over influenced, and then that creates then what is an insufficient idea efficiency. So effectively, you're just bouncing from one thing to another, as you stated there. Most important thing for that is that you start writing your thoughts. Now, let's remember that we grew up on pen and paper in school, and there's a reason for that. Because if people write their novels, when they write and they feel they start writing, they just realize how all their memories and all their past experiences just open up again, things they thought were archived away. So what we say is that each night, get yourself a pen and paper and write down what are your priorities. So remind yourself each night why it is I run a business. If you want to run a business, just be a millionaire, you know what? That's not the answer. If you run a business correctly, the byproduct of running a happy business is money anyway. Let's understand that. That's a byproduct. So each night you'll write down what are your priorities. You write down what your gains are. Now, so many people talk about vision writing, and it is so important. It's something that can never come out of date, ever. Because you remind yourself why I'm running a business, what I need to tomorrow, and what is my end goal. Let's remember that the purpose of your business, that line is drawn in concrete. It doesn't move. But getting to that purpose, they are drawn in the sand, them lines, and they keep moving. But it's making sure that each time you move your line, it's in line with your core values of you and the business, not somebody else's core values. The moment we do what fits with somebody else and not with ourselves, then that's when we become misaligned with our thoughts and ideas, and we end up like that, in a spaghetti junction full of ideas, and gets us nowhere.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's what you said there of prioritizing and really bringing yourself back to your why will always stay the same, like you said, but I think there will always be, like you said, those things, those structures in place to really help you. And I think starting out the structures is, and getting those kind of set up, I think is really important. I think that's something that what I've seen over from talking to different people is that the structure usually comes after not having any, and then it's quite hard, and then you're going through another change process. What structures have you put into your business to help you, Paul? Because I've seen you seem to, well, you, to me anyways, have a really great lifestyle balance. You do your biking, you're now going out on the road this year, and you do have that, this is my business time and this is the me Paul time. And I've heard you in the past talk about your burnout, and that kind of brought this whole way of you rethinking your business and rethinking of the type of business you want. And I know before you spoke about as well you build your business around your lifestyle, and you don't build your lifestyle around your business. So can you talk to me a little bit about that? I suppose this was your learnings from the burnout and this whole lifestyle thing, because I think it's something that when we talk about lifestyle, I think it's a byproduct a lot of the times of the business. It's not, people don't really have that overview that you have where they're building their business around their lifestyle, because it's just something that you don't hear a lot very often.
Well, who said a working week has to be 5 days? We're a bunch of people just follow along assuming that the bare hours of a business is 5 days a week. And then if you run a business effectively, you've got to put an extra 2.5 days in. It's insane. Who said that, what if the government said, okay, a working week now is 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And you have to get everything in it. It's illegal to work the other 6 days. And you have to figure out how you make that one given day in that week to earn all your money and to get all your invoices done and get all your clients in. So I'm going to say that's impossible, but all we do is we'd rise the prices, everybody would rise their prices, and we'd get it all. We would make it happen. You would make it happen. If it was common law that a working week was 3 days a week, we would make that happen in 3 days. That's the first thing. You got to break
society. We're really saying society dictates what that looks like, I suppose. Yeah.
It's all, it's Jurassic.
Yes.
It is. It's Jurassic, this 5 day a week. For me, it didn't make sense. Like, why? Why do we have to? Why would you only leave yourself 2 days in your life and work 5 days? That don't make sense. That's how it was back in the time. We've got an abundance of digital technology. We have vast library of business experience. There is no given reason why, one, there's a failed business, or there's a business now that has to an SME business owner that's working 5 to 7 days a week. We don't have to do that anymore. So here's the thing again, it's intentional. It's being intentional, and with the frame of mind of knowing, okay, this was a process for me. I started at 7 days a week plus before my burnout. After that 3 months of rethink, then I thought, okay, I went to 4.5 days a week. That was like going from being a full-time meat eater to becoming vegetarian. It was a big shift. Wow. Just a half a day. Then from there I went to 4 days, and then from there I'm going to 3 days. Once you realize, you change that intention of thought, and you become more intentional in realizing that actually I get more done in my 3 days than would in my 5 days, and I've actually reduced my business to grow my business. We overdo business. We overdo it because we see everybody else overdoing it, and we assume that we have to overdo it also. People say, you should be on social media, got to be all these places, you should be doing this. No, you actually don't have to. It's the power of your presence. The amount of clients I have had that run multi-million-pound businesses, no website, no business cards, and a constant full, constantly capacity with orders and clients, because they run it with an intention. An intention. That's what creates, that's the attraction is where we are. People assume that you can only get seen if you're out in social media. Not at all. We have the jungle drums of voice are far quicker than the jungle drums of digital technology. They really are, because with voice, we put an intention, we put authenticity behind it. And when someone is loved because of who they are, then 1,000 more people find that out very quickly. And then 1,000 more people and 1,000 more, just from that exchange of energy. So in order to get your lifestyle in, and you've got to come in with the intention to say, right, next week I'm having to reduce my business. Now, you will probably have to reduce economically, financially to start. And then once you then transition your style of business practice, business person. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, not a business entrepreneur, or not a business person, a lifestyle entrepreneur, which means I run a business to create a lifestyle. I wasn't always that way. When I first started, I was a business person. Horrible, horrible way to live. So you create that intention to say, right, I'm going down to 4 days a week, which means I'll have to, in the interim, cut out some of my to-dos and know that it's okay to cut those out. And then you will reshape your business to a different efficiency. But that can only come from creating the intention first.
Yeah, I love that, Paul. I think it's so powerful now, because I think so many people, and it is a mindset, and it's a set of beliefs that is programmed with a lot of people out there. I really firmly believe it. I feel that people feel if they slow down, they feel guilty. They feel, they feel wrecked with guilt. They feel they need to make up for it if they, take a day off their business, or if I know some people that they go to pick up their kids from school and they might be doing dinner and stuff, and they'll do 2 hours in the evening in their business again, and they won't have that family time in the evening. Mm-hmm. And, it is in that. And I suppose your realization came, Paul, I suppose, a little bit from your burnout and that kind of happening. And how can we get people, before it gets to that stage, to really wake up and change those habits, those behavioral habits in their business, where it doesn't get to the point where a lot of people kind of get burnt out, or they're like, I've had enough, or whatever that is? What do you think could be done, I suppose, to help them get to that point?
Well, that is such a brilliant question, and it's like the $1 million question. Let's look at it this way. The majority of SME business owners are so far down a rabbit hole, they don't actually want to come out of it. And even if you try persuading them out with a bit of coaching, if they're not ready, they'll go back down that rabbit hole, and they blame everything around them for their current circumstances. They blame market, they blame buying habit, they blame whatever it may be, when actually everything is within your control as a business owner. And a lot of people blame, of course, lack of finances, money, and so on. But then if you are practicing poverty, then you live in poverty. It's fact. Listen, understanding the power of think is not something that's new. It's been around for centuries, for sure. And that power of thought, your power of thought, is everything in your business. Your business is completely reliant on the think fitness that you carry, how you think, very much. And, that's not going to change, because how we think, how our minds work, is still the same and will always be the same, unless, of course, we get implanted with some digital technology into our brain. But that's a long way off yet, I'm guessing. So here's the thing, is that if you run a business and you've decided your reason for the business was to create a lifestyle where I only want to put 4 days a week in and have 3 days off, or 3 days a week, have 4 days for my own lifestyle, then you have to understand that takes discipline, because you have to undo what are loyalties to disappointments that you are constantly practicing. People are loyal to disappointments in their mindset every day. One person you may find that boys, girls find the same trouble partners week in, month in, year out, until they break that repeated process. People with money say, money goes straight through my hands. My glass is always only half full. And we've all heard these lines, but it's true to fact. Until you actually sit down and know that your belief that you are valued and you're worth having this style, this lifestyle in your life, then only then can you make that happen. And you know what? You have to learn it. I'm going to give this man a shout that my coach right now is Pat Slattery. Pat Slattery made his millions in his very early part of his career, but only slept for 4 hours a night. If you look at his lifestyle now, is completely different. This man works at a very different rate now, but still has the same financial return in his business. We are not, a business person isn't a business person. A business person, if they got it right, is a lifestyle person. We don't run a business, we run a lifestyle. What does our lifestyle look like? You have to look at it this way. Take away the word business. It's a very frustrating word and unnecessary. What you do, I'm a lifestyle person. What is that? I'm a coach. So I'm a coach in my lifestyle practice. You run a lifestyle practice. Everybody does. If it's delivering, if it's making a product or delivering a service, it's still a lifestyle. That's who you have to see it as. See it that way first.
Yeah. I think it's definitely something that it makes so much sense, but I think so many business owners are really caught up in that wheel, that hamster wheel of, creating pipelines, creating content in social media, all of these kind of things that they really, from listening to you, need to step outside of that and set those intentions, which I've heard you say a couple of times, and understand that they deserve it, I suppose, because a lot of those beliefs are they're in our subconscious mind. We're programmed. So it's really understanding where that belief is coming from, and why it's limiting you to be that way in your business, to create those habits, and that takes a lot of internal work, I think, in the inside, because I think sometimes you touched on there, I can't, money seems to go out of my hands, or this is kind of the way I view work, is I always need to work hard, because if I stop working hard, work will dry up, or I won't get any clients, or and again, where is that belief coming from? And sometimes it might be coming from the environment that you grew up in, that you didn't realize your parents were saying it around you, and listening to your mum and dad saying it, or whatever that is. If they came from a working class family, that you then have that belief there, not realizing it in your subconscious, and you're bringing that into your business every day. And that's limiting then you to really understanding your potential in other ways, because you're so busy doing these other things. You're not giving yourself the time to really give less, but give more in more of a value piece.
Exactly, and that is it. Give more in a value piece. And let's just touch on something quick there, where you mentioned something you said there, where people are always creating content. Create content because you want to, not because you have to. If you're creating content for social media because you feel you have to, it's going to be empty energy content. So effectively, people will not be attracted to it. So if you feel you have a message, or you have something to share that is going to add value because it adds to your life, then that's a good reason. But if you're adding content because you are shouting out because you want people to come to you, and rather than offer something that you want to share, then that's what we call empty content. So only share when you authentically, from an authentic level, and you have something that's going to create a difference, then share it. I've seen things go viral. You think, wow, how did that happen? But when you really listen to the content, it comes from the person's heart and soul, and it makes all the difference. It really does.
Yeah. Some amazing takeaways today, Paul. And some key things that stuck out with me was aligning yourself to your true self in your business, and being authentic, being purposeful with what you're doing in your business. And when I say being purposeful, being true to your why and aligning that in what you do, and not always going with the crowds or the masses.
Yeah.
Be
purposeful to yourself. See, this is a thing.
Yeah.
You know, people run a business and they think they've got to be, you know, I run it because I want to make sure everybody else is happy from what I know. No. Be selfish in your why, in why you run a business. I run a business, you know, I enjoy working with clients, but I don't get up in the morning and, you know, and run into my business to work with clients because that's the best part of my day. The best part of my day is when I'm living my own life, when my lifestyle, my clients are there in order for me to grow myself. I don't work with a client if I don't feel I'm going to grow in them. I choose clients that I'm going to grow from, which adds to my lifestyle. I don't choose a client for the invoice rate. I choose a client because I know I'm going to learn from them. And if you have that approach, then it's a win-win situation in life and business. And then your business is a guarantee to be successful because you're choosing to grow from the people you're working with.
Love that. Work with people you can grow with or grow from with. I think that's really, really powerful. Because I do think there's times when we work with people, but we don't really see or return on investment with time with working with them. Sometimes it is just, it's a client, you know, whatever that might be. And I think, again, are we being true to ourselves? Are we being true to ourselves with the time that we're giving? And time is one of those assets where we can't buy it back, you know? So it's being good to ourselves and being worthy to ourselves, that we deserve to get out of that experience as much as what we give into it. And I just think it's fascinating listening to your perspective on things, Paul, because I think that we all have our own way of viewing the world, and your way is very different to a lot of businesses out there and a lot of entrepreneurs out there. And I just think it's fascinating, and I think a lot of people can learn from your stories and your experiences. And I'm going to put your social media channels underneath. Paul is doing a really cool project. We didn't really touch on it today, but he's going on the road. I just mentioned there a couple of minutes ago, and he's a couple of videos up at the moment, and it's pretty cool. He's in this van. I'm not going to tell you anything else. And it is him in his element, out and about and jumping around the place. And definitely follow Paul. If anything, it is fun to watch, but also lots of learnings, as you can imagine, and something I have not seen any business coach, any entrepreneur doing anything what this guy is doing, because he's an out of the box thinker. And I think people like that are people that really make business diverse, but also make us look at it from a different angle, which is fantastic. So thanks so much, Paul, for chatting to me today. I really appreciate your time. I know you're super busy, so thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me.
Thank you, Louise, for having me on. It's been a